Students, welcome to Sunil's tutorial. I'm Sunil Milwani and today we'll be doing this chapter called as control and coordination. Now, let's continue with the hormones that we were doing. Let's consider the hormones of the heart. Let's see the hormones of the heart. Now, the atrial wall of the heart secretes a peptide hormone known as the atrial wall of the heart secretes a peptide hormone known as atrial natriuretic factor. This is the hormone that is generated or that is secreted by the wall of the heart, right? Now, what does this hormone do? When this hormone is secreted, only when the blood pressure increases. This hormone is secreted when blood pressure increases, right? What does this hormone do? It causes dilation of the blood vessels. It causes dilation of the blood vessel. It causes dilation of the blood vessel. Now, if there's a dilation of the blood vessel, what will happen? Automatically, the blood pressure will decrease. It causes dilation of the blood vessel, to which blood pressure decreases. So that was the hormone of the heart, atrial natriuretic hormone factor or atrial natriuretic factor. Next, hormone of the kidney. What is the hormone of the kidney? The juxtaglomerular cell. The juxtaglomerular cell of the kidneys produce a peptide hormone. Known as erythropoietin. That's the hormone that is secreted by the glomerular cells of the kidney, right? Now, what does this hormone do? It stimulates the bone marrow. It stimulates the bone marrow. It stimulates the bone marrow for production of RBC. Production of RBC is also called as erythropoiesis. Right? Those are the hormones of the kidney. Now, if I were to talk about the hormones of the hypothalamus has practically all the hormones are controlled by the hypothalamus. So, any hormone that you have, most of them are secreted by the hypothalamus. Starting from the ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropin hormone, then the thyroid stimulating hormone, then the follicle stimulating hormone, growth hormone, then you have the prolactin hormone, the melanocyte hormone. So So all these hormones are secreted, or their secretion is controlled by the hypothalamus. Now you've secreted the hormone. What is the action of hormone? What will the hormone do? How will it control the functioning of the organ? How will it bring about a change in the cellular activity? Let's try to understand this. Hormones act as a messenger and regulator. Hormone as messenger and regulator. Hormone as messengers and regulator. Right? Now, hormones act on their target organ to induce the effect. Hormones act on their target organs to induce their effect. Right? Now the target organs, how do they act on the target organs? They have specific binding sites on which they act. Now these specific binding sites are called as the hormone receptors. Right? The target tissues, have specific binding sites which contain hormone receptors. Right? So these hormones are going to be received by the hormone receptors. Now, if I'm saying that they're going to act on the hormone receptor, where will this hormone receptor be? Now, there are two places where the hormone receptor can be. Either it can be on the cell membrane or it can be inside the cell. The hormone is going to act on the hormone receptor. Where will the hormone receptor be? It has to either be on the cell membrane, logically speaking. It has to be either on the cell membrane or it has to be inside the cell. So I can say the hormone receptors are either present on the cell membrane. Hormone receptors are either present on cell membrane. They are either present on cell membrane or maybe intracellular. Cellular, right? So these are the two places where you can have those hormone receptors. Now, what do these hormones do? The binding of the hormone with the receptor leads to a hormone receptor complex, right? I can say that the binding of a hormone right? The binding of a hormone to its receptor. The binding of a hormone to its receptor leads to the formation of a hormone receptor complex. Leads to the formation of a hormone receptor complex. Now, how you have so many hormones that are going to be released. How do I know that which hormone will react with which receptor? Each receptor has only one and only one specific hormone to which it will react. Right? So I can say each receptor is specific Each receptor is specific to one hormone only. Hormone only. Each receptor is specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are specific. Fine, do we get this in here? Now the formation of a hormone receptor complex leads to certain biochemical changes in the target tissue. That's how the hormones actually act. Once you have this hormone receptor complex that is formed, there are going to be certain biochemical changes in the target tissue, and thus the metabolism and the physiological functions of the target tissue would change. So that's how hormones affect, or hormones bring about their action on the target organ, right? So I can say that the formation of hormone receptor complex, the formation of hormone receptor complex leads to, right, leads to certain biochemical changes, in the target tissue. Right? Thus, the tissue metabolism, and consequently the physiological functions are regulated. By hormones. So that's how hormones control the tissue. Now let's actually try to see how the hormone receptor complex is formed, right? The hormones which interact with the membrane. Now I said that hormones could either interact with the membrane or would be intracellular. Let's first try to see hormones that interact with the membrane. Hormones which interact with the membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell. As soon as they react with the membrane receptor, they produce a secondary hormone which then enters the cell and performs the given function. Fine, do we get this in here? So I can say that hormones which interact with membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell. But generate secondary messengers. Right? Now the secondary messengers further regulate the cellular metabolism. Regulate the metabolism. So that's how metabolism is regulated by this. Now there are certain hormones like steroid hormones or thyroopsins which interact with intracellular receptors. We first saw those hormones that are reacting with the membrane. Now the ones which react with intracellular receptors, they not only regulate the tissue but they also interact they regulate the gene expression or the chromosomal function, right? I can say that certain hormones are like steroid hormones and thyroxine, which interact with intracellular receptors, so they regulate the gene expression and or the chromosome function. Right? These receptors are present inside the nucleus where the hormone receptor complexes form. These receptors are present inside the nucleus where hormone receptor complexes form. Hormone receptor complex is formed. Fine. So it interacts with the genome to evoke a biochemical change, right? Hence, it interacts with the genome to evoke a biochemical change, right? Resulting in physiological and development function. Resulting in physiological and development functions. Right? Okay, we'll stop this here for today. Thank you very much.